Cell membrane.
The cell membrane. Let's explore the fluid mosaic model of cell membranes.
Thank you, Ms. Membrane, for interviewing with us on such short notice.
Of course, I'm glad to be here.
So, in order to help out the new cells that haven't seen you before, may you introduce yourself?
Yes. So I, the ninth leader of the cell membrane union, am made up of a phospholipid bilayer with polar hydrophilic heads and non-polar hydrophobic tails. Our bilayer spontaneously forms in aqueous environments, as our hydrophobic tails tend to crowd away from water, and our hydrophilic heads position themselves to interact with water molecules. Unlike some other organelles, us cell membranes are fluid and ever-changing to the times, allowing us to change our structure, encircle particles in other cells, and bring in new substances for the cell. This fluidity depends on the extent to which each membrane interacts with van der Waals forces, as some membranes with long fatty acid tails and saturated fats tend to be more rigid and stable, while others with short fatty acid tails and unsaturated fats are more fluid. This fluidity is also supported by other lipids in the membrane. For example, animal cells often have cholesterol that helps maintain the fluidity of the cell in different temperatures.
And how exactly do you support the cell?
Well, the main ways that we support the cell involve structural support and managing the transport of substances into and out of the cell. We are the main way that all cells, both prokaryotic and eukaryotic, maintain homeostasis and manage their organelles and systems. Without cell membranes, not only would all membrane-bound organelles cease to function, as they would now interact with each other and disrupt each other's functions, but entire cells would lose that structure that keeps them from just being destroyed by the environment. Alongside this, the cell membrane is heavily involved with facilitating the transport of molecules or substances in and out of the cell. With the help of many different types of proteins, such as transmembrane proteins, transport proteins, and carrier proteins. Some substances, which are either very small, nonpolar, or uncharged, can diffuse directly through the cell membrane or through a transport protein, moving from an area of high concentration to low. Active transport, which requires ATP, allows us to move from an area of low concentration to high, creating a concentration gradient that is often used to change the concentration of specific ions, as well as transporting glucose, amino acids, enzymes, etc. Without the cell membrane, our cell would not receive any external resources that it needs to communicate with the environment, maintain functions such as create ATP, and remove waste products that would otherwise damage the cell. Oh, one more thing, eukaryotic cells should vote for us because of how we can bring in substances so efficiently, and the processes of endocytosis and exocytosis allow the cell membrane to bring in vesicles and nutrients or send waste and signal molecules at a very fast rate.
Thank you. And last question before we go, what are your thoughts on the other candidates running for president?
So glad you asked. Well, firstly, the cell wall. This organelle, although it does very much to support the cell structure, is a little too happy to block stuff from moving on the borders of the cell. There is a reason why many cells don't have a cell wall. It gets too high on its horse for blocking substances. Even the cells that do have cell walls also have membranes because the need for communication and transportation of substances is that much more important than solely structure. If you vote for the cell wall, you lose out on all the benefits of the membrane, like the communication, the transportation, the external substances, just to upgrade an imperfect wall that would still be imperfect. Secondly, viruses. To keep this one brief, if you want to vote for this organelle, don't vote. Just don't vote. These prokaryotic cells, viruses, all they want to do, all they've said they want to do, is use up our resources in order to fuel their single-celled objective. They inject our cells with toxins, hijack our membranes or walls in order to control our internal organelles, and I don't even need to say more. I mean, don't even vote for me if you hate me that much. Just don't vote for them. They've been colluding for so long to take down the other organelles, and I don't know why you should vote for them when you could just vote for me, get resources, communication. Not necessarily a choice since they're trying to kill you. Last but not least, we have the mitochondria. Now, I don't have any direct beef with this mitochondria. It's just that after using ATP from the mitochondria billions of times, I feel like it's warranted to say they're a bit self-absorbed. Can I say that? Sorry. Well, they talk a big game about how much they produce ADP, which they're good at, but they fail to realize that everyone around them is helping out with that. In our case, we literally bring them the glucose that they need to create ATP. Like, even though we also use their ATP for active transport, I feel like since we're the organelle that allows them to even do that, we should be the main leader of the organelles, you know? There's levels to organelles, and we should reside at the top of that totem pole.
Thank you for your time. I know we didn't have much time to chat, but I'm glad that you made it here for the interview.
You're very welcome.